Welcome everybody to our second podcast with brother Khalid out in Miami, right? You out in Miami?
Yes, I'm down here in beautiful. That's what my dad called God's country.
That's what's up.
It is here in Miami. It's really 73, 74 year round and beautiful beaches and nice places to see, brother.
But that
Good
ain't
times.
that ain't what we got out here. It's almost negative out here in Chicago.
Brother, that's why this is called God's country, man. I do not envy you guys. I was born in Illinois. We live in Chicago. My father migrated to Illinois when he left Panama, and they were there. And he was like, "Nope, we're not raising our kids here. We heading south, baby." And that's we end up here today.
That's
That's
what's
how we
up.
end up in Miami.
All right, once again, this is the Brotherhood of Parks and Recreation Professionals. We empower men of color shaping the future of parks and recreation. So we got my brother here doing some good things. So we're gonna jump right into the podcast. We be about 30 minutes and we'll go from there. So for those who may not know who you are, who are you? Well, who is
Uh,
Khaled?
so who's got? So let me give you my first full name. So my name is I am Khalid Salahuddin the second. I am a Parks and Recreation professional here in Miami, Florida, and for the city of North Miami here in Miami-Dade County. My title is listed as the Recreation Supervisor. I've been employed here with this city for over 30 years, but in different capacities through that time. I love Parks and Recreation. I was a park kid. That is one of the reasons how I got into Parks and Rec. I'm a father of three, a 28-year-old, a 23-year-old, and a now a collegiate of an 18-year-old daughter that's at FSU. I'm just so happy about all that. I'm not happy about she going to FSU, but I'm happy that she's close here in the state of Florida. I don't have to go to Michigan now instead. So I'm very happy about that.
That's what's up. Man, what drives you? What's your passion? What's your why?
So I think for me has always been the call to be involved and also to serve. My parents were people who did things early in my life. You know, my father was part of the Black Panthers. You know, the Breakfast Club, breakfast thing early in the mornings for the kids back in the day. So I got to see that as a young child. I also got to see my parents sit on the board for superintendent, sit on the board for our school district when I was in Mississippi for quite time, pushing for education for all kids of that county that we lived in. I got to see my parents migrated here to Miami, how they evolved into the actual fabric of the society of being more involved day to day for our community here in Miami-Dade County. So I got to see that. So with that being said, it actually was natural progression for us, for me and my siblings to get involved in our community also. And we end up finding jobs that serve people in some form of fashion. My sister's is one of my sisters work as a principal at a middle school here. My brother is an engineer. My other sister does logistics. So it's doing this, being part of this fabric of this community here, and just being able to serve folks. That's what we basically based upon, just wanting to help and see people do great things in Miami-Dade County.
That's what's up. How'd you find this field? Like, cause nobody did you just drop into it like everybody? I said with my brother Kevin, I found recreation when I was there. I didn't go for recreation when I found it, or it
So
found me.
it found you. So I would say that I have two to that. I have two stories for that, two things for that. One, I would say that because I was a park kid, I played in this park. I was about 15 years old, and a gentleman who ran the park was a guy named Dale Anderson. And one day I was working these odds end jobs. I worked for my uncle at a construction site. I worked at another uncle who had like this business where he did perfumes and potpourri and things like that. So, and he didn't pay you by the hour, he paid you by the piece. So if you did so much stuff, you got paid for that piece. I wasn't fast at putting that together. So I remember I got my first check. I worked for a whole week, and I got a check. I got a check for like $32, 36, something, no money. And I remember my uncle and my father, my other uncle and my father were together. And I walked in the office and my cousin was with me. And he said, "Oh, I heard y'all got paid today." I was like, "Yeah, I got paid today." And I had this long, this pitiful look on my face. He went, what you got paid? Let me hold something, So I was like, I got paid like, it was like $30. $30? You were working like 60 hours. What you? So my dad was like, what the hell going on? So from that point, I was like, no, I can't do this. So I went out to the park one day because I was a baseball player. That was my passion, playing baseball. So I was out there and I was getting ready for my practice later in the afternoon, but I was watching some younger kids play. And I saw Mr. Anderson. I said to him, I said, Dale, I need a job. So he was a gentleman who was over Parks and Rec, who was over the athletic department at the time, named Jim Stamborski. He said, you see that man over there? Go get your job. Just like that. And I was like, okay. So I walked up to him and said, excuse me, sir. My name is Khalid Salahuddin. Put my hand out. My name is Khalid Salahuddin. And I was told you are the person who I need to see or possibly seek employment. He looked at me. He looked at me. He's like, ooh, this look here. This so. He said, oh, okay. Who sent you over here? I said, Mr. Anderson. He said, oh, okay. He said, I'll tell you what. He said, how old are you? I said, I told him how old I was. And he was like, oh, you too young. We don't hire him at 15. We hire you at 16. He said, when you turn 16? I say May 1st. It was April. I said, about a week. He said, oh, tell you what, your mother come down to my office on Friday and you get your job. So my mom, she was a teacher. She got off work. She took us down there and back of those applications like this thick. And it was like, yeah, everything was twice. And then some of the stuff had carbon on it. And I got a job, and I started working in coaching, and I started working doing refereeing and coaching, and then eventually the gentleman who ran the department, Mr. Anderson, he had a young man on the schedule who just wasn't doing right. So when I would leave one site, I'll come over there to the site to either practice or wait for my siblings to finish practice for my parents to take me home. He was like, "Hey, you got your staff shirt?" Like, yeah. All right, call your mom, let her know you're gonna stay home. You're gonna stay with me today. So eventually, I started on his schedule, and I learned the trade of how to do fields in the park, and he taught me also how to make sure you understand that you have to greet people. We're in the customer service business. We're in the people business first. Right. So once you understand you're in the people business, you have to be able to speak to people. So that was one of the things how I got into Parks and Rec. And eventually he moved on and I left and went with him to Dane for a little bit. But I stayed part-time with this city here. But I will say this, every time I got a job outside of Parks and Rec that was fruitful or potential to do some different things, it kept pulling me right back in Parks and Rec. It didn't matter what it was. Either I got myself in trouble, got fired, or it just didn't work out, or it worked out where Parks and Recreation was a natural fit for me as I started to matriculate in this field.
That's what's up. That's awesome. I mean, it's great. Like you meet some of those people along the way, and you're able to recall those names. And I'm sure those individuals made a big impact on you and your development because you remember them. A lot of people don't remember names. Before we move any further, I see this. I see your background. I can't neglect to talk about your role or let you talk about your role with this organization and just drop a couple bars about that real quick.
Well, as you can say, you see in the background, I am the president for the National Parks and Recreation Ethnic Minority Society of Parks and Recreation. We have been in existence for over 50 years of professionals of Black and Brown in the field to basically roll out and also be affirmative person in inclusion and diversity in our field. I've been a part of EMS since 2017. And at that time, I had no idea that they even existed in this capacity. And you talk about names real quick, and we'll drop another name. There was a gentleman by the name of Nathaniel Wilkins. He was actually the first Black director here for my city. He was actually the president of EMS at one time. And I remember when he would talk about EMS, it just went in one ear, one out. He would talk about the things I didn't understand. I had no clue. He's still part of this community in some form. And I told him one day, so I said, I'm part of EMS, told him maybe like 5 years ago. So, I'm doing this for EMS. He was like, I told you about EMS. And da, 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 da. I was like, you did. I was like, oh, and he was telling me all these great things. He was like, hey, you need to talk to this person. You need to talk to this person. So this organization has a very rich culture of folks connecting others in this field of parks and recreation. I'm just one person of this. We have some tremendous board members, and you are one of them, part of us to help us try to get our new vision out, and that is to better serve our communities and also our members. And so we're looking for engagement this year. In the next 2 years during my cycle as president, we'll be engaging our members and also other communities by bringing more programming. We're adding a resource library to our website. We're looking to increase our membership by 30%. And before I cannot be remiss to say this, our past president, which is now our past president, Chris Bass, helped develop what we call an agency membership, which will help us grow and also impact a lot of agencies throughout this here Parks and Recreation family community. So we're very excited about the things that's coming out. We're very excited to see what's going to take place in Philadelphia for 2026. And we also, not be forgetting, in April the 13th through the 14th, we have our park tour. So we're having hosted our park tour as a prelude to our park summit that will take place in DeSoto, Texas in 2027. So we'll welcome everybody to come out for that, check it out. You can check it on the website starting in January. Please, I look forward to everybody being involved. And we're going to also roll out something that NRPA is trying to roll out. And we would actually want to be the first organization to help put this out. And that will be the park maintenance certification classes for our park personnel. So we're looking forward to that. And we'll be offering scholarships for that. So please stay tuned, okay?
Awesome. That's good. I'll be dropping for everybody. You dropped a lot of knowledge right there, but I'll be dropping that in the comments when I watch it again. So,
thank you,
But you did say a lot of stuff, but like man, young professionals that come in the field. I'm gonna say you got. I'm gonna tell you to talk on some of that a little bit, but when we speak in code, we park professionals speak in code. We speak in. I work for LWSRA. I'm going to the NRPA, and then I got a meeting with EMS, and then I'm going to go to Wheels. We speak in code, so
yes, we do. Yes, we do.
We sometimes we got to slow down and educate people that don't know what this code is. Because I remember my first day sitting in a meeting, and I was like, I don't know what the hell they talking about. I was like, but everybody know it. But I'm trying to figure out what it is. It reminds me when I first got my superintendent job. I'm gonna tell you a story real quick. Everybody was like, "Man, you gotta call Julie before you dig," and I was like, "You gotta call Julie," and I never built anything. I was like, "Who is Julie, and why she got so much power?"
right. But they tell you better listen.
Right.
That's for sure.
Right. But so in Illinois, you gotta call Julie and before you did, so they could do all the lines, whatever they call. But we spoke in code and just getting that language. So young professionals out there, get to know people. We need to slow down too, so we can meet them where they are, so they can understand what we're doing, because we be moving. And we got to get people along the ride. So let's talk about mentorship. Who is somebody that mentored you, and somebody that you're mentoring right now, and how important is that in mentorship for
you? Young people is my passion. I figured it out when I was trying to go everywhere else. Just young people tend to gravitate toward me, and also be able to speak their language and understand what they're going through. My first mentor was Mr. Anderson, and I would say that because of that, his mentorship helped me meet other folks at the same time. My second director, I would say, I had a young director here named Derek Coker, and I say this from a mentor standpoint, is that you never know who knows who in this field.
Yep.
You just never know. And he was hired as assistant director. I'll never forget. And when he was hired here, the director basically told him, "Hey, you got one job, and that's to get to know this person, referring to my colleague, and you need to get to know Khalid. You know what they do, how he do things, and whatnot." Now he had been around, and he sit at the table. He was young. He was younger though. I never took that as I can't listen to him. That's one thing I never did. What I took was we wanted the same thing, but we're not speaking the same language. So we butted heads. I mean, we butted heads. And he one day he just had the knowledge because he was in certain rooms. He must have had a conversation with somebody. Hey, I need to reach this guy because this guy is who I need to reach. So one day he said to me, he said, "Hey, I need you. Can you know how the gas thing work for the car? I gave me a car. I don't know how to put gas in it. So here, I got to tell him, oh yeah, okay, come on." So I take him. So in the car, and he asking those questions like, "Well, how do you get in Parks and Rec?" He's trying to reach me, trying to have this conversation. So I'm telling him, I'm like explaining to him, yeah, same story I just explained to you earlier about Mr. Anderson. I said it to him. And he paused to say, "Wait." He said, because I was calling him Dale, I wasn't calling him Mr. Anderson. He said, "Wait, is it Dale Anderson?" I said, "Yeah." "He used to work at T.Y. Park?" I said, "Yeah." "For Broward County?" I said, "Yeah." He sat back. He said, "God, that was my mentor. That's how I got in this." And it was like, it's like the gates of heaven just opened up. We would start to speak the same. It was like, oh, and it opened up. We understood each other better now. And he was the first one. I had worked for the city for quite some time. And I was doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes, making everybody else great on the administrative level, because I was on administration, but I was still doing the things behind the scenes. He was the first one. We had a bid process for something one time. And he said, "You're going to take the lead. You're going to lead this conversation." I was like, "Okay, cool." And from that point on, it just jump started me to get more involved in different things, from being more involved in Parks and Recreation on the professional level now by reaching out. I've never been to NRPA, which is the National Parks and Recreation Association Conference. I had been there before that. And I remember I've been to FRPA, which is our Florida Parks and Recreation Association, and I got to meet some great individuals there, like Mr. Chester from Broward County Parks and Rec, and one of our actual past presidents, Mr. Ernest Boking. He was there also, and he was a good mentor when I was there. Man, he was, "Come here, little brother, come here. Come here, little brother, come on over here. Maybe in your ear, giving you game about this thing." And it's like, "Hey, listen, y'all need to get prepared because we leaving." He would always say that, "Y'all need to get prepared." Mr. Chester, "We leaving, so y'all need to be ready." And I say that because those mentors helped me get to where I am today. Even my young director, if it wasn't for him, I would have never met you or Lakita, who introduced us. So it's a connecting thing because of that. And I've made sure that I continue to pass that on. Like, I have a young man that works for me now he used to work for me in a program that I ran called it was a summer internship program, and we would hire young kids in the community and throughout the school system to work throughout different departments in Parks and Rec. No, I'm sorry, throughout the city. So they go to city manager's office, city council, library, Parks and Rec, police, anywhere. And we gave them the opportunity to work and see how, from a civil part, how they can see the community, how the city runs. And that was a great experience for a lot of these kids. I had one young man who worked in purchasing. I remember interviewing big, tall. You see these kids, they're just a little awkward. They're a little out of their place. But I saw something in him. And he'll tell me today, he said, "You don't want to take a chance." I didn't put him in Parks and Rec. That was too easy. I stuck him in purchasing procurement. And he flourished. They hired him throughout the year. And then, they didn't have a budget anymore. "Hey, listen, can I have a job here?" I said, "Yeah, come on, you can work here." So I got him a job working here. He worked for us pretty good. And he moved on to work a full-time job for a neighboring city. And he moved on, work another job here. But he stayed connected. hey, Mr. Khalid, da da da, keep in touch. I'll give him information, try to keep him close by. And then I had an opportunity to hire him full time back here for me. And I told him, I said, listen, I'm going to give you everything I know because somebody gave me everything they know.
Right.
And that was Mr. Anderson.
That's what's up. That's awesome, bro. That's dope. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's so dope. And you being vulnerable right now is like that's what it's all about is
Yeah.
giving people flowers that
Yeah.
before they gone or while they here. But
Unfortunately, he was gone, but yeah.
you
Yeah.
said something really important. Being in the room, like being invited
Yeah.
into the room, and then
Yeah.
also somebody bringing you into the room.
Yes,
Like,
sir.
we all in these spaces and we move fast, but as the seasoned professionals, we got to stop and say, okay, I'm gonna bring you in the room. And that's why this platform is so important, so we can talk to people that's out there, because we don't really, before we got on the board together, we ain't talking till we got to conference. You get what I'm saying?
Yep. Yep.
Or
Yep.
I'm rolling through your town, you rolling through my
Yep.
town,
Yep.
and then we
Yep.
be like, oh
Yep.
yeah, let me hit them up. But we need to be doing more of this on
Or
a regular
connecting.
basis. And
Yeah.
then, like I need to meet that, I need to meet him. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
meet
Yeah.
him. I wanna
Yeah.
bring you back and him have. Like, I want him to see this so he can know the impact that you had, that he had on your life, and he can be proud of you too, man. This is dope. Yeah. And,
So that's my young man. I'm really proud of him. He's taking advantage of all situations that we're putting him in. I like the future of Parks and Rec, especially with somebody like that. He doesn't wait. He come in and say, Mr. Collins, what you got for me today? All right, come on. We're gonna go in. All right, you ever worked on a bid before? No, okay, come on. This is what you gotta do. I'm setting them up because I know, I should always tell the young people in the program, in the YOB that's what it was called, YOB, and it stood for Youth Opportunity Board. So it had this funky name, but that's what it stood for. I used to always tell them, I was joking, but I was serious at the same time. It is my job to prepare you for tomorrow. And it's my job to prepare you to pay into this great Ponzi scheme called Social Security. So I need you working, folks. So I'm
right.
gonna do what I can to get you
Right.
working.
I need
So
you to I need you to be
I need
a
you ready.
the
You're
taxpayer.
right. Hey, religiously. So that was one of the things I would say to jump, but also made sure that in this program we also provide them with professional development. So we made sure they were ready, not just with just a job, a paycheck, but they also got information how to do their own business model, because not everybody's going to work for somebody. We bring in entrepreneurs to come in and talk about different business things and how do you go about developing a business plan. We have people come in and talk about conflict resolution, because young people don't understand conflict. Conflict is different from you and I. And they don't understand that conflict starts you get up in the morning yawning and your breath stink. That's conflict. You need to understand that. You need to take care of that. So there are things you need to do to resolve that. And there's an easy way to do that instead of going another way to deal with conflict. And those are things that we would talk about in our sessions. So I would get them like every Wednesday. And if I didn't do the actual orientation, I would make sure I bring other folks in. I'll make sure people talk about banking and why it's important to have a bank account versus a check cash card. I was making sure that these folks was ready to understand that the importance of that and understanding the bigger picture for them to be valuable adults.
Yeah.
Not everybody is lucky like Khalid.
Yeah.
So it is my job to make sure that they had the things they needed to have. So I was
Man,
serious about that.
you dropping them bars. I knew you was gonna be a good interview. Let's talk about like some things personally. So, like what's some things that, you that keep you motivated when things get tough, outside the job, inside the job, things like that.
I always joke and say that mortgage. So
Them bills, baby.
that gets you motivated for sure.
Real quick.
So hey man, if that can't get you motivated, then god dang it, I don't know what to tell you. So I would say, all jokes aside. So one of the things is motivation is, for me, when we're in this field is just to see the impact that we have on people positively, how we can change people's lives, how we can enhance people's lives from the smallest thing as creating a tot lot in an area that didn't have a tot lot before, or upgrading the existing tot lot with the simplest thing is a shade structure. We're in South Florida. Every tot lot needs a shade structure, but we're slow getting about it. So putting the water park, and then also too, one of the greatest things we've done before is like having an organization outside, like a partner organization outside that brings in, let's say, 100 kids. And this happens in the summertime. We're surrounded by water here. We have oceans, canals. You saw when you came in, we got all type of water everywhere. It's just water just everywhere. You don't pay attention, you can walk in water and drown. It's just crazy sometimes. So getting people to understand the importance of just water safety, not just water safety, and giving them an opportunity at little to no cost, sometimes no cost, to teach them how to do water safety, be it only 6 classes or 8 classes or what have you, just the opportunity. And then seeing later on how, as I get a package of letters like this or coloring things from the kids that I had a great time, this and that, it's really beautiful to see the impact you have, that we have on our communities in a positive way. Those are things that I look forward to. Those are very motivating. That says, hey, y'all doing something right. When a parent can say that their child is on the spectrum, and we don't have here, I could tell you this right now, we don't have therapeutic recreation like that, like just that. I have young people who like kids. I have staff that love do what they do and find a way to have that kid included in the activities and making sure that they have a great time at all times. That's impactful when a parent can come back and say, I can't say thank you enough. That's the important part about what we do. That is the motivation part, where we have that impact on young people in the moment. So I can say that, yes, that's the motivation part, and making sure that I keep my staff motivated, because, you have times where you have things that happen where it can, it's a valley, and they keep, I understand, hey guys, it's going to be a valley, but guess what? There's always more ups and valleys. So we're going to make sure you understand that, and keeping them motivated, and also showing that, hey, listen, we're not just doing it for these folks. We're doing it for the young people out there, because they're going to remember you. They're going to see you in the grocery store. Oh, that's Coach Marco. Oh, that's Coach so-and-so. That's Coach so-and-so. That's Miss Ann. Oh, she drove our bus for the summer.
Right.
They see that. And these folks are returning because guess what? We are the caretakers of the most precious resource on this earth. That's our children.
Absolutely. Man, you're doing a fantastic job out there. You know what? People don't understand, man. Like, we have some phenomenal professionals, and letting your emotions out, and when you talk about it, I can see it. And I mean, Miami-Dade County, they lucky to have somebody like you out there. But let's talk about one thing. When we had NRPA and people watching this, because this is live right now and people watching it.
Mm-hmm.
What's something that they wouldn't not necessarily know about you that you would like them to know? They would find interesting. You already said you played baseball. Something interesting. Somebody walk past you and they could be like, Twix, huh? You know?
So I don't have a real hidden talent, so to speak. My hidden talent was in the sports. I love sports, and I just like people. I just like engaging with people and having a conversation with people. One thing you probably would not know about me is that when people ask me my age and they can't believe it. Now, I've grayed since then, but back in the day, we actually was like, you can't be that old. But that's one of those things. We age gracefully. So So that's the beautiful thing about us. We age gracefully.
Yeah.
I just can't think of something that comes to the top of my head that stands out, because I don't think I think I'm a regular guy. I think that, I'm just a guy's guy, and and parks and recreation professional. So I'm everyone's parks and rec professional. So, I love what we do. I think that I will say this. I will say that me having my CPRP is one reason, because of you.
Oh, okay.
That is a true statement. Because I remember when I first met you in 2019, 2018, 2018, 2019, something like that. I was trying to figure out how I was going to take this test again. And I remember you telling me, I got this guy who do these videos, because I'm more of a visual learner. I was like, well, that's me too. Man. I need something like that. And I think that, over time, me being able to take that and give that, I was able to take those videos, and I ended up, passing, getting my CPRP because of that. I ended up taking that information and share it with other folks that have come through me.
Right.
And that has impacted there, and has motivated them to get their CPRP, or already have their CPRP because of that. It's just basically being a resource for other folks. I think that's one of the biggest things for me. Yeah. Is be able to connect. And my brother's good at that. He always says that, I'm the connect the dot guy.
You're gonna connect it. There's a book called that. I think I had it at one point. I don't forgot who wrote it, but it's called The Connector. I have to find it. I had it somewhere. But
now there's another book that's similar called Click. That's a really good book, and that's a good book about relationships, curating relationships, and keeping your network, understanding how to curate networks. And that's a really good book. I recommend that. Matter of fact, I recommended that book. I got that book for pretty much everybody I come across. I get that book. If I like you, I'm getting this book. I'm sending it to you. So I actually
my address. You got my address, right?
No, you the next person on the list to actually get that book, believe it or not. So I surprised Kevin with his book, matter of fact, 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
So yeah, so when I come across good material, one of the things that I would say that my parents were really good at. My mom, she's an educator first, so her thing was, the best gift you can give anybody is a book. The best gift. So no matter what tangible thing you're gonna give them, a book. Because what's in that book is more, the resources that's in that book going to be more powerful, more helpful for them than anything else in their life. Any dollar you give them, it can make sure anything in that book will help them double whatever's in their pocket tomorrow, today. So,
man, that's good. I'm glad you mentioned those videos, because the guy's from Florida. I don't know who he is. I swear, I found those videos.
From Arizona.
I don't know. I found those videos because I was struggling taking the test. And I took it so many times because I'm not a good test taker. And
I understand.
And I was frustrated, and I was like, man, I had bought the modules to listen to, and the modules they work, but I found myself falling asleep. I wake up and it's still playing. You got a little something in your nose, Khalid.
I'm sorry.
Sorry about that. No, I don't want you out here on the camera boat.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was falling asleep, so I said I found these videos, and I just they helped me. The guy broke it down, and he from Florida, I believe. I can't find this guy nowhere. I Googled his name, I put it everywhere. So when we send these videos out, if somebody know this and y'all know him, please get me in contact with this guy, because he's helped me, because I really I just was not a good test taker. All right, well, we up on our hour, and we're gonna probably have to do a part 2, because this is great. And we'll circle back and do some stuff. I'm planning on doing a group call where we all can get on and talk and just kind of do that one day. That's good. So once again, thank you, brother, for coming out and sharing your time and being a part of this brotherhood, man. And I know we kicking it off, and we got a lot of guys that want to get on, and we trying to figure out how to communicate with each other, because we really don't we don't be vulnerable. We want a space where we can share what we going through.
Right.
And it's not many of us out there in these in these positions. So we
That's
need to be
true.
able to lean on each other for the
That's
work
true.
stuff and the advice, but for some other stuff that
That's
as
so
black
true.
men that a lot of people just don't get. And a brother Corey Wilson, man, I'll never forget when
Yeah.
he, at our equity summit, how he's like,
Yes, it is.
yeah, what he shared with us, and I was like, that was the reason we
Mm-hmm.
put this together. So we got to really continue to connect and get and be resources for each other, and just be there for each other. With that, I ask, I need one person for you to nominate for me to talk to.
Okay.
So you got to nominate somebody, and then I'm gonna call them up and get them on, and we're gonna do our podcast number 3.
Awesome. So I'm going to do better than that. I'm going to give you two names and we'll make sure they get on your podcast.
Okay.
So the first name is, I think that it would not be right for me not to make sure we get this person on. That would be Chris Bass. I think that it would be a phenomenal person to get on to have this conversation with, and also so people can see and hear what he has to say. He's a phenomenal young professional, and is doing some great things. He has gotten EMS to a place where we can just now take that dive off that cliff and hit a nice somersault, backflip, and then some in the water with no splash, and then continue swimming upstream to do some great things. So I cannot say enough. That will be a person to get to. And my second person, I would probably say, is Harith Elamine from out of
Yeah.
Brentwood,
Yeah.
California. I think that he's another young man that you may want to have a conversation with. And I think that he has a lot to offer too at the same time. So there are a lot of folks that if you need more people to give, like you said something earlier too. That's another thing too why I think it's important that we continue these conversations like this, and also being these spaces like this, because I can tell you this. Being here in South Florida, there were not a lot of people who looked like me in those positions. It wasn't until I went to the National Park Recreation Association NRPA conference in 2017 in New Orleans, I was like, wow, look at all these black directors. Where they come from? Like, I ain't never seen nothing like this before in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like something like, whoa. And it was like, and I got to see, I met a little diminutive person that was there named Lakita Watson, who was the director of this place called Suffolk I never heard before. And I was like, and that from that relationship and that engagement that I had with her led me to EMS, led me to more conferences, led me to understand and also invite me in spaces like NACPRO that does the directors thing every year. I got invited to that. I'm not a director. I got invited to that. I was in the space and I got to listen and have conversations in spaces that they needed to hear from black and brown people because they didn't have a clue. So these are spaces that we need to make sure we're into at all times, so we can also make sure that we have inclusivity in all areas of parks and recreation. So
And
I challenge
and
everybody
we
to do
not
so.
getting left behind.
Yeah, and you're not getting left
Because
behind. So the information is there.
if we don't know the information is out there, how can
Yes, it is.
we just getting left?
Yes, it
We
is.
gonna be doing our job, but
Right.
I mean,
Right.
and one of the reasons I started this is because to see how the women are moving in
Yep.
their
Yep.
organizations.
Yep.
I always get it wrong. I said it wrong.
We paw. We
WePaw.
paw.
I say
We
YPaw.
paw.
I don't know why I want to say Y like I don't, but it's WePaw. But
Yeah, we paw.
the way they moving and making moves and doing things and they getting together, they powerful. So
Yeah.
and I said, brothers, we got to work on this emotional state. We don't work on this. We
We got,
definitely can't
I think a lot
organize
of
to
things,
get
like you
together.
said, is Keith, is we got to learn how to check our egos at the door a lot better,
Absolutely.
and to be able to be understanding that I don't have all the answers. I'll be first to say I don't have the answers.
Yeah.
So I just always tell my staff and say, listen, I don't have all the answers. So therefore, that's when I come to you, ask your opinion on something, because I need to hear it from a different perspective sometimes. I want to make sure you're engaged enough to understand what the big picture is later on. So I want to hear from you. And I think that a lot of times that we don't understand, we have to check our ego. No matter how you go, you still don't know everything. So you need to find out who knows something else.
Yeah.
There's a saying my dad said, I'm gonna leave with this, is that you should always seek knowledge from the cradle to the grave. And if you don't do so, you would die in between. So make sure you do so. That's just a human thing you should do. And I make sure I tell it my kids all the time, be open for change, be open to knowledge at all costs, no matter who's telling you, be open to it.
Yeah, if you're the smartest person in the room, you need to find another one.
Yeah. That's
Yep.
true. That's
Yeah.
true.
All
That's
right.
true.
Well, once again, everybody, this has been a good conversation. The Brotherhood of Parks and Recreation Professionals, empowering men of color, shaping the future of Parks and Recreation. So I want to appreciate my brother Khalid for coming out here and dropping 40 minutes of time for us. And we out to the next one. Probably drop another one next week. Appreciate you. Love y'all. Peace out.
Thanks again. Thank you, Keith.